Okay, so we always start off with the Helping Parents Heal mission statement. So I'll do that now. Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents. Through support and resources offered, we aspire to help individuals become shining light parents, meaning a shift from a state of emotional heaviness to one of hopefulness and greater peace of mind. HPH goes a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and afterlife evidence in a non-dogmatic way. HPH affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background, and encourage open dialogue. Attendance at this meeting is voluntary. We hope the participants will learn from and share with each other. Discussions here are confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers, allowing parents to learn about many possible ways to heal. This includes presenters covering progressive topics such as afterlife evidence and connections with children who may have passed. The views expressed by our guest speakers may or may not reflect the opinions of Helping Parents Heal leaders and members. So we ask that you take from the presentations whatever may benefit you personally. Okay.
Thank you so much, Mike. That was beautiful. And I am on here with Irene just to be able to, first of all, introduce Gordon and Jackie, and then also have a special announcement that will only take 5 minutes, so we won't be taking too much of your time. But first, I'd like to introduce Gordon, who is someone who's been an enormous support to Helping Parents Heal, along with Jackie. He's an international medium, public figure, and author who is hailed by the UK's media as Britain's most accurate medium. He's been the subject of 7 years of testing at Glasgow University by Emeritus Professor Archie Roy, the head of the Scottish Society of Psychical Research, whose finds were published in 3 scientific journals. Gordon is internationally recognized as one of the world's leading psychic mediums, spiritual teachers, and author of over 20 books, which have sold over 1 million copies in many languages. He has earned the reputation of being an authentic, all-around expert in spiritual awareness and psychic studies. Plus, he is an accomplished, detailed artist who has created works that transcend this earthly dimension and time. The sale of many of his works have been donated to Helping Parents Heal, and Gordon has donated 2 beautiful angels for the conferences to be auctioned off to parents. Gordon organized a special holiday event with the help of many well-known mediums who each donated a reading to Helping Parents Heal as well. He's traveled the world many times demonstrating his mediumship and teaching international students. These teachings have been converted into highly successful online courses that attract thousands of students from around the globe. These students are attracted to his charismatic nature, which they insist brings a sense of healing and restores balance in their lives. And that's his introduction. And I would like to pass this over to Irene to give the special announcement, if possible.
Yes. We are so grateful for everything that Gordon has done for Helping Parents Heal in the past and what he continues to do. It makes a difference in so many people's lives. And we're so grateful to have you, Gordon, and to have Jackie as part of the Helping Parents Heal family. For all of you, we'd like to announce that Gordon and Jackie have helped raise $10,000 that they're donating to Helping Parents Heal. And this money will be used for scholarships at the conference. So we're just so grateful. And there are no words to describe how, I don't know how we can thank you, but thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. We are truly grateful to you. And our newsletter just came out yesterday. It has a lot more information about these donations and about some of the works that Gordon has been doing. And and hopefully everyone will be able to read it. Thank you. And we're going to get off now
Yes.
and
Have
let
a
you
great
get,
meeting.
Nice to see
and
you girls.
I
and
hope
welcome
to see
everyone.
everyone on here at the conference next year.
Yes,
Registration will be opening
definitely.
beginning of the year. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
Cheers. Bye.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Okay, so that said, Gordon, I'll just hand it over to you and just
No
let
problem,
you
Mike. Yeah.
go for
Okay,
it.
so welcome, guys. It's always a pleasure for me to work either as a medium or to share the knowledge that I've gained through my work and through the many, many different experiences I've had as a medium. And from very young, in my early days of mediumship, I worked with different groups who had lost children. And it seems to be a big part of what I do. So meeting people from the Helping Parents Heal was a real natural thing for me to become connected with. Because as a medium, and I only tell you this because I hope it qualifies that I do this to help people. And all the years I've been a medium, which is almost 40 years now, I've never taken a penny off people for readings. And that doesn't make me a saint, and I don't say it for that reason. I say it because it allows me to remain honest, guys. Because some days it doesn't work, and I'll say to people it doesn't work. So it was never a business for me. When it works, it's an astounding thing. Not that I'm special, who I am is not important, but what I can do for people when it works is very important. And it's just nice to tell you that I'm not one of these mediums who will, encourage you to keep coming for readings or things like that. I want people to know that good mediums are very authentic, and you will know them by just how they talk to you. I think good mediums are decent people. They're good people. And you guys have got to trust people when they tell you that they have information or messages from your loved ones, especially when it's children, because it's so meaningful and dear to us when something does come. So I will always be as honest and authentic with you as I can. I do that everywhere I go, and reassure people that I am only here to try and help. Having sat with tens of thousands of families in my lifetime who have lost children, it allowed me to kind of gain access to how people feel when they lose a child. And immediately everybody thinks of mothers, even the fathers think of their wife at that point. And it was one of the things that I noticed in my, as I say, my long career as a medium now, that in the early days, I would sit with maybe a couple and the man was just looking, you know, supportingly his wife. It was all set up for the lady to get some help, and which is obviously necessary and needed. But the more I did it, I remember looking and thinking, is the guy okay? Because he just looks like he's lost, completely lost. And he was supportive, and in all these cases. And I remember working in the UK, in England, and I was making a television documentary for the BBC. And I didn't know the content of the documentary because it was kept secret from the mediums. There was 3 of us. And what they were trying to do was show an example of mediumship that is downright ridiculous and extortionate, of mediumship that was mediocre and nonsense, just there, and mediumship that was actually a tool for healing. So I had no idea that they'd chosen me in the capacity of a genuine medium. All I knew was subjects would be put in front of me, I would read. When I couldn't, I would say, nothing's coming. And they liked that because it was honest. I'd say, I'm sorry, today's not the day it works. And with one family, the man and wife came in and they sat down. And like all families I see when there's been a recent loss of a child, the room itself turns icy cold. They don't notice that. I do. It's an immediate thing. And that's normally because of the anger that is being carried by the parents. And in this particular case, it was pure anger. And anger's icy cold. It's not hot and passionate. Anger is freezing cold. And the room just drains of heat. And immediately I thought, okay, they've lost a kid. And I'd started the reading and explaining it to them, how it may work. And of course, it was directed to the mother, who was really in my face, kind of, drawing me towards her. And the dad just seemed to drift away into the background somewhere. And I worked with this lady, and I told her she'd lost a boy. His name was Kevin. I never forget the spirit people's names for some bizarre reason. 40 years worth of thousands of names, and I've never lost one. And Kevin came through, told us he was 17, and he was killed in a car accident by a drunk driver. And immediately, that was the anger. I thought, this is the anger. This is what they're carrying here. They've lost a child, but they've lost a child to somebody who got drunk and was not in control of a vehicle. So you could feel all of this. And as the reading was unfolding, I was able to tell them he was a painter and decorator. He'd just started a job. He was painting houses and things. And they were very, very, all the things, even down to his PIN number for his bank card. And that was quite impressive, even for me, as I say. So I don't think I've done that again. But it was necessary for them to believe. But more than anything, it was the dad. All of a sudden, I felt the boy say, "Help my dad." And I looked. There was this, I don't even know how to put it into words, this moment where the man's throat had a lump in it. And I all of a sudden felt it. I just felt it again, actually, but it was like, wow. And I quite literally heard words come out my mouth. I wasn't creating them. They just, and said, "I was with you yesterday, Dad, on top of the world." And the cameraman started to cry. I could feel the camera shake. The mic was getting shaky, and the whole film crew were in tears. And I'm looking, and the wife was looking, everybody's looking. And the dad let out this noise that I've never heard. But it was a release. There was a freedom from the anger that was suffocating him, that was drowning him. He let something go, very primal. And the whole room just heated up. It went warm in a second. And everybody felt it. It was afterwards, the camera crew said to me, "We cannot believe what just happened." And I said, "Why?" It was all kept very secret. Mediums were not given information, and neither should we be. But the day before, they had filmed the family before they brought them down to London. They lived in a little village in the north of England. And one of the camera guys said to the dad, "Can we take you separately and have a little interview with you, how you're feeling?" And he said, "Yeah, okay." And he walked them to this place where there was a hill. And he said, "I used to bring my boy here." He said, he called it the top of the world. And he said, "And I come here to look for him." He said, "But I've never found him. I always expected him to be here with me." He says, "And I even put my hand out to the side and I close my eyes and say, 'Come on, Kevin, if you're here, just take my hand.'" He says, and he never does. Well, the end of that reading, I said, "And he does hold your hand." So the cameramen, they were like, wow, because they experienced it. They knew I had never met this man, or I had no knowledge of the loss that he and his wife had. And it was this importance of seeing that man who was just there to support he wasn't just there to support his wife, but that's what he gave over. That's what he kind of displayed to us, that I'm here to support and I'm being a strong dad. But the boy knew his dad was in trouble. So it was the importance of that message that made me look at all families and every member of families when there's a loss, because everybody has their own loss. And the families don't only lose the child, they lose each other for a long time, because both are lost in their own grief. And grief is like a maze, and you can't pull somebody out when they're in their own maze. They're lost in this labyrinth. And that's where I hope the value of what I do as a medium for people when it works is to give them a light that will lead them out of that darkness. I can't take away grief, nobody can, and nobody should say that they can, because we cannot do that. But we can give you tools to work with. That lovely gentleman that I mentioned, the father, his son told me a way that his father could feel him when he went back to the top of the world, to this hill. And he said, "Will you show my dad?" And I did. I taught the man how to open up to his son. I said, "So try and understand this. Your boy isn't physical anymore. but there's a consciousness there. And that consciousness can interact with your consciousness if you know how to open up. I said, but most people don't, especially most men. Most men probably never heard of meditation, or if they did, they thought it was something that women did in a yoga class or something like that. It's not a thing that men, well, maybe more today do, but they didn't back then. And I said to him, I'm going to show you now, I'll sit with you privately away from all the filming and things. And I said, when you go there, because you will find him, he's there. He's everywhere with you, but that's a nice meeting point. And I told him how to sit and open to feel his kid. It wasn't that long after I met with the family again when the filming was all finished. And the father said, I felt my son's hand in my hand, Gordon. He said, and I keep telling myself I imagined it. And I said, you know, that's the logical part of your brain. That's what men do. I said, just accept it. Don't question it. It doesn't need to be anything else. You felt it for a second. That's how it begins. And it does, guys. It's not going to be overwhelming. You're not going to have these great visions. You might. I'd love you all to have that. But it usually is something very subtle. And people are keeping looking from the wrong direction when the subtleties are actually there with all of you. Because your kids want nothing more than to let you know I'm still here. I know that because I feel it every time I do it. And that's what they really want. They want you to feel their touch, or to see them in a dream and say, that really happened. It wasn't just a dream. Or, you know, the song that comes on the radio and you say it's coincidence. And there's only so many times coincidence can be coincidence. You know, after a while, it becomes synchronicity and things line up, you know, and when all of these things line up, something magical may happen. And that's the thing I try and invite people to do, is keep your mind open. And the other thing that men tend to do a lot is destroy their spiritual experiences by the overuse of logic. You got to learn to let it go. Just if something happens, accept it and walk on. Because the moment you accept them and acknowledge the experience, then it can become something that repeats and repeats and repeats. Now, a lot of people say, well, if I do all of this stuff, am I not holding my son back or my daughter? Am I stopping them from going forward? Absolutely not. No. You cannot hold back spirit. You can't do that. People hold themselves back by not moving on to the next stage of grief, I would imagine. But that's a natural process. And people will move on when they're ready. Grief is something that has to be experienced. It's a natural thing. Grief is the price you pay for love. If you didn't love somebody, you don't feel it. So it is, and it's not a cost that like a punishment. It's just because we loved, we feel that pain. And I love that. That was our Queen who said that, Queen Elizabeth. Grief is the price you pay for love. And it's so true. And it's almost a testimony. And I think some people honor it because they feel pain. So to lose somebody so beautiful in your life, and if it didn't hurt, you would feel guilty. I know that sounds horrible, but you would probably feel guilty if you didn't hurt. The pain that you feel almost is an acceptance of their death. But beyond the death is that what I teach people, to remember your kids, like genuinely go and allow yourself to go into your mind. A lot of people forget the photographic memory that they have of their children. I'm sure some of you guys have done this. I've met so many people for a while. You know, I think you switch off and you can't find them. There's almost like a switch that goes off for a while. And again, as a medium, I encourage people to talk about them, to remember them, share happy memories. The moment you can do things like that, the messages get easier. Their communication and contact with you gets easier. Constantly doubting, constantly challenging your own experiences will bring you down and it will deflate you. And therefore, as I say, you got to work at this a little bit where you go, okay, I'm just going to accept for a little bit. I'm not going to be an idiot. I'm not going to be gullible, but I'm going to accept it until proven otherwise. So you got to re-educate yourself when it comes to spiritual practices. I say this because it comes easy to me or natural to me because I'm open and I've been doing it all my life. But for somebody who's doing it through grief, you have something to focus on here. You have a heart that's full of passion to find your kid. And that's what we use in this. We take that, and we even the sadness that we feel, we take that and we use it to become the door that opens to the spirit world, the door that opens within us, within each of you. And that's how you get to them, through your pain. And that pain at some point will become joy again. And one of the lovely memories I have of a young Indian lady who lost one of her 3 kids to an illness. And after the reading she had, she said, "You know what?" She said, "I've been telling people that I only have 2 kids, that, you know, the other died and I don't like to talk about it." She said, "But after the reading, I'm going to honor that and say, I have 3 children, but 1 in heaven. And I speak to her when I can." And I loved that and thought, yeah, I'm going to use that as an example, because a lot of people are frightened to talk about those who pass to the other side. And in that fear, we lock a door. So it really is about not being afraid to open the door that's inside you, to feel what you need to feel, and allow the memories to come alive again, because they're not gone. They've just been suppressed. They get relegated to one of the deeper departments of our mind, where we put stuff we're frightened to look at. And in actual fact, the honesty of crying while you talk about them is the most beautiful release. And they feel that too. That's when they are so close to you. The last time I came on here was ages ago, but I did say, yeah, I would love to take you on a little journey where I go to find the spirit world, and hopefully take you into that atmosphere that I create. And when I did this with the ladies before, it really helped them. A lot of them really felt something, because people don't know how to feel their loved ones in the spirit world. We automatically assume that they will happen through one of our 5 senses. You'll see them, touch them, smell them, all this stuff. And it doesn't always. Sometimes it's just a change in vibration. Sometimes you feel your heartbeat starting to go faster when they come close to you. And it might just be that little calling card, that signature that they have with you. For some, they feel, a finger go through their hair. For a lot of the men, maybe feel it on the scalp. Not everybody's got a full head of hair. But there'll be something that actually ignites a connection between you. And that we learn how to read that as a language, because it's telepathy. And none of you have been taught telepathy before. And telepathy is a feeling thing, not a thinking thing. People think, I think something, you pick up my thoughts. It's not. I feel something, you pick up my feelings. That's how it works. So to teach you how to do that, to feel the atmosphere around you. I mean, I wonder how many of you have never tried that. What does it feel like, just sitting, tuning into an atmosphere? But that's where your kids are. They're in the atmosphere. And when you can actually sense the atmosphere around you, that's how I pick up the essence of any spirit, is that I feel some kind of slight vibration, and it tells me that the energy is altered. That word energy, everybody uses that too much, but the atmosphere, that it's starting to alter. When a spirit person comes close to us, things happen that are not part of the 5 sensory world. This is a 6 sensory experience. Now, it might just be a flicker for something for a moment. Some of you might have the faculty of clairvoyance, that when your eyes are closed, you see things. And don't try and work it out. Please don't do that. Again, logic comes in. Did I see that? Did I make it up? Did I want to see that picture? Is this my son Michael? Somebody's son Michael is here, actually, and he keeps talking in my head, but we'll get to that later. And you have to wait, Mike. But the thing is, sorry, yeah, the thing is, he's funny, that I'm really want to, I know that the kids come and work with me when I do this. So it's like opening up a little space and taking you in there. And if you've never done anything like this before, just listen to the sound of my voice. And when there's an empty space that's quiet, just be in that quiet and just try and feel. If you were able to sense the room that you're in, but without looking at it. That's all you're doing. You're extending your awareness into the space that you sit in. And you don't need to get big results. You actually don't. You might get a simple result, but we'll talk about that at the end. But I really do want to take you into this very special space just to sit in the power. And then I'll show you, or I'll explain to you how you send out a vibe to your loved one. And you might be surprised that you might be thinking, oh, my daughter's here or my son, but actually it's your dad or your mum. But don't ignore anybody. Whatever happens, happens for a reason. There's always a bigger reason. But let's just see if anything happens if I take you into the space. So what I'm going to do is ask you, for anybody who has practiced a meditation, it's very similar to that. Only I'm actually going to be doing something different with the atmosphere around me. And it doesn't matter how far away you are from me. There is no space and time in the world that I occupy. So I can be with you as well. But that also means so can your kids. They are not limited by the physical world or time or space. So they can be right by you. So I'm going to ask you just to get comfortable. Sit comfortably. It's important you sit comfortably. You don't do anything silly or contorted. Just get yourself relaxed. And just close your eyes whenever you're ready and breathe slowly. Just long, slow, deep breaths. And just allow your body to start to feel relaxation. Just concentrate on nothing other than your breathing. Just slow breaths in, filling your lungs with air. And just as slowly releasing the breath from your body. Allowing your physical body to become relaxed. Just let go of any stress or tension in your shoulders. And as we relax the body, so we relax the conscious mind. And we do this by telling ourselves that in this moment, there is nothing you need to accomplish. Absolutely nothing you need to achieve other than a quiet mind. If thoughts come into your mind, just allow them to pass through. Hold on to nothing. And just sit for a moment in the quiet of your own mind. Looking for nothing, no intentions. Just try to be aware of the space around you. Just the space that you sit in. And you may be aware of the sense of vibration or being able to read the frequency of that space. Once again, do nothing, just observe. Just register anything you sense. And I want you to just send out one intention to your own loved one. Create in your mind one of the happiest memories you have, something you genuinely shared, and let that happy moment fill you. Let it be your atmosphere, that you send out a joyous memory of love and happiness. And then welcome your loved one to be with you, to share your space. And then be aware of any sense of feeling or sensation around and on the body. Just look for any subtle moment of change. And spend a moment in the quiet with the connection of your loved ones. Just let them be close. Okay, just thank the spirit and just allow them to move out of your space. And equally be aware if there's any change. Can you feel any difference in the atmosphere as you allow them to move out of your space? And just begin to breathe a little deeper once again. And it's the intake of breath that allows you to become more awake, more aware, back in the moment. And just whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes. Just take a moment to gather yourself and just ground yourself back in this reality. Okay. Now that's a very simple practice, really easy, and it shouldn't be difficult, because a lot of people make these things difficult for themselves by maybe putting too much expectation on it. And it's a very simple thing. It'll be interesting for me to know if any of you actually felt anything or got sensations. I mean, I could feel I could feel a lot of the people around me there. But it would be interesting for me to hear if any of you guys experienced anything, even if it was a slight change or a vibration. And I'd be surprised if you didn't feel a pulsing around your chest or a vibration, because that really is what I was asking them to do, was to change your vibration. And if anybody did get that, it would be nice to hear your thoughts on what happened.
So we got a couple of screens, Gordon. So if anybody could raise a virtual hand, if you'd like to give some feedback under reactions, there you go. Andy's demonstrated lovely. And if you can
Or even if they
unmute
want to ask
Andy,
questions, Jackie.
yeah, that would be great. Just to raise a virtual hand,
Cool.
you'll come to the front of the screen. Go ahead, Andy. Good evening.
Hi,
Good
Andy.
evening. Yeah, that was amazing. What I felt was this side of me
Yeah.
Was, I don't want to say warm. It was
No.
different, like you
Different, yeah.
said. It was different. And then as I kind of just accepted it, I felt like not pressure, but I felt like he was hugging me.
Yeah.
And that's significant because I asked him, I was in London when he died, and I kind of kicked myself because I was like, I don't remember our last hug. So
Yeah.
I felt that. I felt a lot of warmth here. You'd mentioned
Yes.
vibration.
Yeah.
I was cold initially and then got really warm, felt it up
Beautiful.
my back. And then I got the impression that he said, I've got you. And that's really significant for me right now. So
it really is, Andy, because even before we started, I felt your boy very close to you, and I actually saw him hug you, but in a photograph where he's hugging you, he's got his arms around you, around your chest area. So I felt that, and he showed me the photograph of it. But he was also talking about just now what you've been going through, and this is where he's saying, I've got you, because he said, I have been experiencing what you've been experiencing, okay? And you are not alone in this, all right? That's what I have to tell you, you're not alone. September was a difficult time there, but you know what? We're still moving forward. Things haven't changed that much. I've got to say happy birthday, because he's very aware of the birthday just now. And he said, I'm always there. You know, I'm always there. Love what you did with my photographs recently. You changed things about for him, and he's very, very happy about that. Now, there's somebody called John in the spirit world that he's met up with. So there's a John over there that he's met as well. And there's a grandmother that he's walking with at the moment. I feel the two of them very close to you at the moment. Andy, there's a dog somewhere, because I'm hearing a dog bark, and he's laughing at this. And he's saying, crazy dog, that's a crazy dog, that. So he's a cute kid. And you know, I really do feel you're going to get more and more connection with him. All right. And he's a happy guy. He's a really happy kid. And I feel that. And clever. He was studying. There was something he was studying around about the time that he passed, because I feel as though I'm learning and studying. And he was a big studier too. And what's that? And I don't know who David is, but he's writing David up in front of me here. So there's somebody I feel in this world called David. I'm sending my love to David. Hey, the tattoo. I've got to mention the tattoo. It's pretty cool. All right. Just to say, I'm never further away from you than I thought. I really am not. But you need to learn to sleep at night, I have to tell you. Okay. Would you please go to sleep? He says, I watch you all night. And you know, talking about burning the candle at both ends, you lit a candle for him, and it's not something you would have done before he died, but he knows you did, and he thanks you for doing that. And I'm wearing, I don't know if it's a leather jacket, but I've got a jacket here. I feel a jacket being put over my shoulders, Andy, and I feel as though it's your boy's jacket, but he's putting it over my shoulders like this. I don't know what the material is, to be honest. I just felt something wrap over me there. But again, I feel as though the hug, the sensation of a hug, will be your boy's way of saying he's there. You just get that soft feeling of pressure, just as you described it. That's his calling card for you. Okay. And to tell you, I love you, and I do have you. I've got your back, is what he's saying. I've got your back. Andy, would you understand why I'm seeing a gun? All of a sudden I see a gun, and I know it's important. He said, mention the gun, Gordon. Okay. And I'll be back, Dad. I'll be back. And what's happened to your television? I don't know what he's talking about here, Andy, but mention the TV. So something's happened to your television, whether it's been distorted or something like that. But he says, it wasn't me. People keep saying it's me. It's not. He says, I don't break televisions, Dad, but I do other things, and I am aware what's happening in the house. A drawing, talk about the drawing, Gordon, he's just said. So I don't know if somebody's drew your boy or they've drew something in connection with him, but I have to talk about the drawing as well to let you know that he's there. Now, I don't know where you are in the States right now, but I assume you're a lot in a much warmer place than I am in Scotland. But he's taking me to New York City. Not that you're there, but there's a connection to New York. And actually, I don't know who that is, but somebody's singing New York, New York. So glad they named it twice. So that New York, New York, and that's going on in my head. But to say to you, I am there. Love the hat, Dad. I'm loving the hat. And there's a connection with baseball caps between you and your lad. So they're all there. And to say, you know what? He is there. And there's several Michaels in the spirit world that are all shouting into their dads right now, but quite a lot of you guys, I feel 3 different Michaels in the spirit world are here as well, shouting in. Anyway, your boy just wants you to know he was there, Andy, and that's nice. Okay, the car, are you in an engine? I see the hood of a car being lifted, and you're in the engine. He said, I'm watching you, Dad, I'm there with you. So he's a really cool kid. All right. I don't know what you should have round your neck or whether you do, but he's making me look for a necklace or something. And you should have it, or you should be wearing it, he's saying. Okay. So you look for that too. And did she really? Right. I mentioned Queen Elizabeth earlier, but I've got to mention Elizabeth to you as well. So there's somebody called Liz or Lizzie or whatever, but he's just so, and Anne, you write Anne up here. That's important. The name of Anne or Anna. So just to say, I'm watching all of you. Okay. But get the video out whenever you need me, Dad. I'm on video, and you know what that means. Okay. And again, he's singing happy birthday in my head. So he just wanted to pop in and just brighten your day. You see? Okay. I'm always there. Beautiful. So yeah, who else has a question?
Okay, Jeff, would you like to unmute and go ahead, please?
Yeah, can
Hi,
you hear me
Jeff.
okay?
I can indeed.
Yes.
Okay. I was just gonna tell a sensation, but I also wanted to share just the piggybacking. We're at our cabin in northern Wisconsin, and it's deer hunting here. It's
Yep.
opening day. So when I was gonna raise my hand, I wanted to find a quieter place to talk. So I walked into one of the bedrooms. I was by my brother's dog, and that's when you said you hear a dog.
Yeah.
And then I came in my other bedroom and I sat down and I'm next to my
The
deer
gun.
rifle, and then you said
Yeah.
the gun. And then you talked about the birthday, and it was my birthday 3 days ago. And it was just crazy. It was just like total piggybacking.
Well, Jeff, do you know what happens? And it does happen in things like this. And I explain it to people that you can imagine all your kids are here. And as a medium, I don't have the luxury of time to give everybody that individual message
Exactly.
today. Hopefully,
Yep.
guys, I'll get a chance to do more of that when I'm at the conference with you. I love to do it when I'm really in the room with people, because you get a bigger feeling. But yeah, that would be the same for you. It would be your own loved ones, Jeff, who would be throwing in little things to catch your attention. And this is what they
Yep.
do. They do piggyback on the back of messages. I've often said that the spirit world are very economical with the messages. They know they only have a small window and they'll get as much through there as they can. And that message would equally be for you. And it would be equally the message that came for Andy, that his boy had his back, or his boy, I've got you. There's the same feeling for you right now. You know, it's like you may be in the wilderness right now, with nature, but that's not an escape, actually. There's a whole lot of other stuff that's been put to one side at the moment. But all will be well. And I'm not a fortune teller, but I know all will be well. And especially, we have a beautiful holiday in Scotland. Well, we have it all over the world, but we call it Hogmanay. And it's the 31st of December, the day before New Year's. And I want you to watch what the new year will bring for you. Would you do that, Jeff? Because there's something that needs, well, it needs to be completed. So there's a bit of completion needing done. But I feel as though that symbolically moving from the old year to the new will have a big symbolic meaning to you. And it's going to be okay. All will be well.
Appreciate that.
It really will.
Yeah.
All will be well. And I don't know why, but I'm seeing a small aeroplane. That's a strange thing to see. But just a small plane, not a big passenger jet. A small plane. I don't know what that means, but I know it's symbolic for you. Going on a jet plane.
Yeah, the memory that came to me when we were doing the meditation was my son had moved to Arizona, and him flying back to the airport and just the joy of seeing him walk through the gates and giving him a big hug after he got off an airplane. That's
Well, that would be
the
it.
memory
You showed
that I
me a
had.
little plane, yeah. But you know, the lovely thing, your lad is there, Jeff. And as I say, what I hope I can meet any of you guys who are coming to the conference next year, and I'm going to spend a lot of time with you when I can. I've got some time allocated, and try and do as much as I can with readings and different things, maybe answer your questions or whatever I can do. But it's a pleasure. Thank you for speaking up, Jeff.
Thank you, Gordon.
You're
Oh,
welcome.
lovely. Next we have Steve. Steve, I don't know if you're aware, but your camera's off. But if you'd like to go ahead and unmute and speak with Gordon, that would be great. There we are.
Yes.
Steve,
Sorry
your
about
mic's
that.
dad. Yeah, it says there.
Yeah, and I guess I'm another leapfrogger here, piggybacking. A lot of the things you were saying with Andy resonate with me. And then you were saying that there's some mics around, and I don't know if one of mine. I'm working, so I wasn't able to do the meditation.
That's
I was
okay.
paying attention though and listening.
Yeah.
But like the gun part, I'm going shooting with his best friend tomorrow. My birthday was November 11th. His is December 5th. So it's And this kid's birthday, I call him a kid. He's taller than I am now.
Yeah.
But his birthday is December 4th. So it's
it sounds
there's a
like
whole
that.
bunch of stuff going on there. And I wasn't sure if my mic was one of the mics, but I figured I'd just jump in here while there's a little
I actually
interaction.
think so. In all honesty, I really do, because it just felt like there was a bunch of people. And they were just, and the name Mike I heard 3 different times. It felt like it came from different areas around me, and I thought, okay. And I saw, it says on your thing, Mike's dad, but it wasn't only that, there was more than one. That's why I thought, no, there's more than one. But I think the relevant things here were the little key points that each of you can accept. That just was a little window of time that they could put stuff in that was enough to catch your attention to say, oh, whether it be the gun, whether it be, the birthday or whatever, but all relevant. That's all very, and again, the message was simple. I've got your back. I've got your back. So remember, the messages can be important. They really can. But the evidence when it comes is nice to support that they haven't died. Because I know when it was Andy's, there was a point where what his boy's trying to say is, I can see you, Dad. And that's what they're all trying to say. I can see you. I'm watching your life. I'm not just a dead person we remember. I'm a living being. And that's the thing. So it's learning to get to know them again in a different language, or language of feeling, I suppose. Jackie.
Okay. Anybody else? Martin.
Yeah.
Hello there. Would you like to unmute? Fantastic.
I felt a warmth, a mixture, really physically cold right now, and I actually felt warmth in that moment of meditation. And my question is actually about Should I be, is that's the first time I've tried meditation. Should I be seeking out like more formal education in meditation, in your opinion?
I mean, I think meditation, the very nature of it, is to help us find calm and peace and balance. So I see it as a good thing. To be honest with you, anybody who practices meditation, Martin, I think will find some benefit from it. And it also could, yeah, it helps you to find a way to still your mind. Is it the biggest problem people have when they're maybe doing something like this and they have grief or loss or the intention of connecting with a loved one? Then there may be the sense of disappointment when it doesn't happen. But if you learn just to meditate for the sake of meditating, you're also opening a door for your kid to come in and say, I'm here, because you'll be in a more sensitive state. So you're teaching so that, so I think it's okay for anybody to learn a bit of meditation. I really do. You know, and where you go with it, Martin, is really down to where you go with it. But the very fact that you felt a change in temperature, and I know many of you will have felt that because it's one of the common things that happens. So if you felt hot all of a sudden, try and think of the law of physics. Where does the heat come from? Because in order to change the temperature, something's got to cause friction or heat, a heat source. Or for anybody who felt a dramatic drop in temperature, well, unless you're, well, you guys probably don't have central heating so much, but unless your heating things went down, why would the temperature all of a sudden drop? So little things like that are almost elements in you building up a language with your family in the spirit world. They give you little signs like that where, oh my God, all of a sudden I get cold. If that happens every time, or this feeling of warmth came over me, if that happens every time there's a connection or a thought to your child, then it's probably their way of getting your attention. They can change the atmosphere. They might not be able to appear at the moment, but they can change the atmosphere. And that might be enough for you to say, oh my God, he's there or she's there. And that's a calling card. But meditation practice, I think, is okay. You know, it's not pulling you off in any crazy road, or I like to keep people as grounded as possible because it's easy to feel you're duty bound. If I don't do this, am I letting my family down? No. So I always say, follow your heart in these things, but meditation's as safe as anything. And if the worst case scenario, you might become relaxed. You're in danger of becoming calm. So I would say yes to meditation. Yeah. Cool.
Okay, hello Tom. Would you like to ask your question of Gordon or give your feedback?
Yes, thank you, Jackie and Gordon.
Hi, Tom.
I felt a little tickle at the back left side of my neck, and I have to confess, I've been feeling that for months, off and on. Not while just in my normal everyday activity, not while I've been trying to meditate. And I keep wondering if it's my son.
Yeah.
It feels like a little mosquito or a bug or something. I was doing this, and sometimes several times in an hour, just repeating that. And it's never on the right side, man. It's always on the left side. And I keep wondering what is going on.
Well, it sounds very much what I call the calling card. Your son's way of identifying his energy, because remember, they're not people anymore. They're just energy, the light, or a different source of something. It's hard to give form to something that's formless, but there's consciousness. So for him to be able to find something that he just can touch you, you know, in a space, maybe going forward, Tom, saying to him one time, I'm going to sit and meditate. If that's really you, can you do it? And if it happens, you know, fine, take it as a given. And if you want, say, well, would you be able to do it again? I mean, that's what we would normally do. But then when we do it maybe twice and it happens, you go, cool, I've got it. Thank you. But when people over test it, then they raise their own doubts again. So asking twice and getting two answers repeatedly, take that as a yes. That's a good sign. But that's a nice, clear way of defining, oh my God, he's here. And the fact that you're already leaning towards that, you know, one of the things I must say though, guys, when I did lots of scientific tests at the University of Glasgow, took part in them. And people all of a sudden think that because you lose someone close to you, that you lose all reason. You don't. People who have lost a child are more critical of things. They're not gullible. A lot of people assume that, oh, you've lost somebody, you're desperate to get news, but you still want it to be authentic. And I think people who have had a serious loss can be quite critical of mediums because they want it to be bang on. So when something different happens, question it by all means, because that's sensible. But when it happens more than once, then take it as a sign of something. And yeah, keep going forward, Tom. That sounds good.
Thank you, Gordon, so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Jerry, hello there. Would you like to unmute? Please go ahead.
Sure,
Hi, Jerry.
thanks. Hey, hi. So Gordon, for me, I haven't meditated before. So for this, I am not sure. I did not feel anything. I didn't have a temperature change. The only thing that I realized was I think I had two quick moments where I smelled cigarette smoke, or I felt like I smelled cigarette smoke.
Oh.
And not sure if that's me imagining that. Like, how do you tell the difference between it's me warning something so bad that I'm imagining it, or if I truly smelled it?
I'm going to ask you something then, Jerry, if I may.
Sure.
Can you imagine the smell of a rose right now and actually smell it? Probably not.
Probably not, no.
Yeah. Smell is one of the things that gives us more evidence of spirit around us than anything else. And because in order to smell something, there has to be a change in the molecular structure of the atmosphere. So it has to actually be smoke that's been put in there. So you think, well, where did that come from? Who would put cigarette smoke in there? Who can?
Mm-hmm.
So it goes deeper than that. But scientifically, smells that people pick up, if they smell my wife's perfume, I can all of a sudden smell it, and she's not there. She hasn't been there for years. That actually is the first sign of physical phenomena, because molecular structure has changed. So whoever it is who's put that smoke there, that's a real clear sign I'm here. So you may think nothing much happened, but that's what I say. It's small, it's subtle to begin with. It will get bigger, it will get different. That's a pretty good start, to be honest with you, Jerry. It really is.
Yeah, great, thank
So
you.
keep going with it, just keep going. I love that. We've had Tom and then Jerry. And now we have Bunt.
Hello, Bunt. Please go ahead.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
For me, when I meditate, at times I really feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And my mind's at ease, but I tend to fall asleep. Is that common?
It's very common.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, think about this, Bunt. When people practice to meditate, you're actually going towards sleep. And meditation as a practice is an exercise. So you build up, if you like, your mind muscles. So in the very early days, most people fall asleep at some point. Some people think they've gone into some bizarre altered state of consciousness, but it's just sleep. And they go, oh, I went away for a while. No, you didn't. You fell asleep. But that's okay. So exercises like the exercise of the mind is the same as the exercise of the body. The more we practice it, the longer we can stay in that in-between stage. So remember this, meditation for what we're doing now, what we were trying to do, is about opening a space and holding it open. So just doing it, not letting anything alter it, keeping it there and holding it. And that way you're giving an opportunity for the spirit to maybe drop in a message, a little impression. It might be just one little thing. But there's times when our mind is tired, we will just drop into sleep. There's nothing wrong with that. At some point you will waken up.
Gotcha.
But that's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Hello, Daryl. Would you like to
Hi, Daryl.
unmute and ask your question?
Hi. I wasn't feeling any warmth when I was meditating, and that's not often the case. But like Tom, recently in the last few weeks, I've been feeling more of something brushing up against here, the hair on my neck's raising.
Yep.
Often when I meditate, I sort of try to project I'm looking off into infinity, the abyss, wherever, and I see a color change.
Yeah.
Blue, purple, sometimes kind of a kaleidoscope. Sometimes I've seen images of my daughter, an outline of my daughter. Is that just my mind, I wonder, or
It's one of the biggest things people will question, and more men question that than women. And it's because you're not used to looking at an etheric world or a world of spirits, or so immediately, you're going to question it and say, did I imagine that? Well, here's the first thing I must tell everybody. Spirit appear in our imagination. We don't imagine them, but imagination is the screen where they can show themselves. So we don't create the imagination. Sometimes it's given to us. And I'll tell you, one of the best ways to know if it's you, Darryl, how you're affected by it. If you see an image of your daughter and it moves you, there's a quality to it. So if your likelihood that's your daughter that's visiting you. If it's just a picture like you would look at and it doesn't, it's probably your imagination or your memory, just remembering a photo. So, and it's neither good nor bad, but the real moment will touch you a bit. It's like having that vivid dream that's got a quality you cannot put your finger on. It's the same experience. But do you know what? It's actually okay to remember them as well. Just remembering a picture, remembering a moment. So, yeah. And it will become, the more it happens, the more trust you have in it. When it happens, the thing in the back of your neck, again, as I said earlier, ask your daughter if you're really there. Whenever you get a moment to do it, will you do it? And then see if she can do it. And you've made that first contact then, a real contact you can trust. And that's how it starts. It starts with very small things, guys. And then it gets better. So I have time for one more, and I think we've got Paul, Jackie. Yeah,
we have. If you could unmute Paul, please go ahead.
Hi,
Thank
Paul.
you, Jackie. I just wanted to address the feeling that I had when I was trying to meditate, and it wasn't so much the temperature difference, but I felt sort of like I was floating.
Yeah.
And I can relate to Bont's comment about falling asleep because I've used meditation over the past to help me try to get to sleep because that's something that I struggle with.
Yeah.
But I also can relate to Tom and Daryl's comment about feeling something on my head like it's a bug. And I've had that for quite some time since our mentioned.
Well, that sensation of either like tickling or just something brushing against you, what it really is, it's happening in the aura around your body. So your electromagnetic energy or whatever, it's that's the spirit world touch that. They don't physically touch us, but it registers with us as a physical touch. But what they're really touching is the space around you. But that then tells me that you are going out enough, Paul, to feel that. So for me as a medium, when spirits don't come into your body or do any of that stuff, they touch your light body, your aura. But I'm used to reading from that. So I sense them walk up against me. I say, though they're not physical. So it's almost like my light and their light, when they touch, have a sense of physicality, though neither are physical. So you're going into a nice space there, almost an altered state. That's actually a really nice space. And the more you do it, different things will happen.
Mm-hmm.
I say to everybody, keep records of little things that happen, because something that you couldn't experience 6 months ago might become common to you in the next 6 months. But just by diarizing it, keeping, a record will help you to understand if there's a pattern or a program emerging. And I mean, for a moment, it just felt beautiful while we were meditating. And anyway, I know I've got to go, but I know somebody has one last question and I won't say no. So let's do that. Is it
okay?
Mia?
Maya, would you like to unmute and please go ahead?
Hi, Mia.
Hi, Gordon. Thank you for taking this question. So I'd like to ask you, when was the point, or where is the point in your regular life, daily life, that your decision making is basing on the physical experience versus the spiritual experience, that you're getting the spirit involved?
Yeah. I suppose for me, it happened when I was probably in my 20s and somebody died who was very close to me, and they appeared. I saw them. Things that happened to me when I was a kid. So I went and learned how to develop it. I went and learned a skill of meditation so that I could learn to switch on and switch off. That was important for me, because for me, I was a hairdresser, Mayor. So I was working in close proximity to people, and I would often pick up their emotional feelings. So I had to learn to dull down my sensitivity. So meditation helped me to shut down, and also it helped me to open up. So nowadays, I very rarely feel the spirit world unless I'm actually working as a medium. So they don't come into my mind. I have no questions for them at all. But for other people, of course I do. And I only open up to the spirit world when I'm doing it for other people. And so I can totally control that. If there's a situation where it's so spontaneous and so necessary, then they will find a way to wake me up and to get a message through. They will do that. But for most of the time, they respect my privacy. And yeah, I have a very ordinary life. I'm a Scottish person who likes to have a drink and a laugh with people, and I'm very grounded. But I take seriously the loss of people's kids enough that I would give total respect to my work as a medium when I do that. So it's, yeah.
If it's okay, I would like to expand this question about experience that I just had yesterday.
Okay.
And it's related to some of the signs that you told Andy.
Sure.
So you mentioned a candle that is always a lighting.
Yeah.
So since our son's transition, we have a real candle that is always light, and we changing it all the time. It's a one-week candle, and we changing it the last 2 years. Yesterday, I supposed to have inspection, a construction inspection in our house, and my wife put a new candle because it was just finishing, and from some reason those inspection papers was very close to this candle, just above that. I was in a different room with my wife. We were talking, and I'm feeling this extremely strong feeling that I need to go to the to the papers. I need to go. And my wife was telling me a story that got a little bit longer, and I didn't want to cut her off, so I was holding on, and but still feeling a very strong feeling. So I decided to tell, I'm so sorry, but I have to go to the permits. I have to go to the papers. And as soon as I'm reaching them, I'm touching them. They are so hot, and there was already a signs of it just was about to burn.
Wow.
To catch on fire. So these kinds of feelings since our son's transition are coming and going. My question is that how can I know these kinds of calling? There's no doubt that
that's your boy. That's
and you
Kevin,
start the story with Kevin, by the way.
Exactly. So I know. I'm talking to you now, and I'm thinking, why did I choose that story of all the thousands?
Exactly.
So
yeah. And today actually is the last day that we saw him, and tomorrow is his transition day. So it's very touching to hear.
Once again, Mayor, it's one of those things where the spirit know how to get just enough to say, I'm here. That's all. And your Kevin would be there totally. I'm sure the thing you said yesterday is his way of saying, Dad, do this. The urgency you felt, because it was dangerous. So he can communicate with you. The thing is, we must not try to.
How we know the difference? If this communication or it's a physical thought?
I know. I'll tell you honestly. When you learn not to question it, and I don't mean be gullible, never be gullible to these things, but when you know in your heart who that was. So don't take it away from him. But don't take it away from him. Just say, thank you, Kevin. Thank you very much. That's what you say.
I love him.
Yeah,
of course.
I know you, and he loves you. And that's the thing that never dies, guys. Love never dies. So keep loving him. Keep you too, and hopefully see you again, guys. I'm so sorry I've got to run, my friends, but I will be, I'm sure, doing this again at some point, and I know I'll be with Jackie. We'll be at the conference. So until I see you all again, just, you know what, keep loving your kids. That's the one thing that cannot die. And I say it to everybody, but you cannot die for the life of you. So
that's a great session, Gordon. Thanks to you and Jackie for spending part of your evening with us.
Not a problem. Thank you, guys, and good luck with things. See you all soon, I hope.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye.